97! Set! Red 97!
Did you say 97?
Yes.
You know, that reminds me of Geico's 97% customer satisfaction rating.
97%?
Helped by Geico's fast and friendly claim service.
Oh yeah, baby. Geico's as fast and friendly as it gets.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Welcome to Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus. 32 years, you guys have made us a success. We want to thank you for that. Before we get the show started, if it weren't for you, we would not be here. But we're going to do our best to tell the truth this year. Yes, I'm Tony McGee. But we got Mike Baker back in the house. In Hollywood all off season. Thought we were going to lose him to the movies, but he came back. Gary Clark, cooler. It's cold in here because he's here. And he's been doing a lot of great things. And Donna Hopkins,
why?
She tried out for the Olympics this year. But one thing that we will do on this show, we will tell the truth. If you do not run the ball well,
you shouldn't have tried out for the Olympics.
If you do not pass the ball well, if you do not stop the run and you don't pass rush, you can't win.
You know, this is symptomatic of about the last dozen years, but let me just tell you one thing. The coaches talked a lot about the cohesion of this unit, the fact that they were all back except for the running back from last year. And you went out there and you laid an egg.
Well,
you had all 10 guys back except for Alfred.
Maybe you should not have had all 10 back.
But I mean, I think they started off well. I think momentum is key in any sports. Once momentum shifts, it changes a lot of things. And you know, we could have been up 9-0 or 13-0 if we run the fumble in, or if we retain the fumble that we got off the sack from.
But you're referring to they should have maybe capitalized on those turnovers and the plays early in the game.
Because that was like a 10-point swing.
Mm-hmm.
But could have been, should have been, it didn't happen, because the thing about it is they cannot punch the ball in there. But going back to the running game, this was the area that they said they were going to focus more on. This year was their running game with Matt Jones-Thompson. They got a rookie, but they ran the ball 8 times in the first half. They did not get that going, and Gruden talked about maybe they just got too giddy in the passing game with all the weapons they've got there. But if they don't establish that running game to set up that passing game, they're going to be in trouble this year. They've got to get that running game going and stick with it.
Well, it seems as if they were really trying to set up the running game with the passing game, because Cousins had a propensity to complete a lot of passes.
Well, our passing game is part of the running game.
Exactly.
Our passing game is our running game. A lot of the plays we have designed are to get you 4 to 8 yards at a pop, which is kind of like what a run is designed to get you, 4 to 8 yards at a pop.
But schematically, what about Matt Jones in this? Is he the same as when you had other individuals in?
I like Matt Jones, and I think you saw him break a couple for, I mean, I think his average was under 5, but 4 point something. I think if you'd given him 20 touches, you would have gotten over 100 yards out of him. I just want to ask you guys this. This looks like the Cincinnati Bengals to me. This looks like a team that likes to pass first and run second. You told me for 25 years the NFC East is a tough division where you've got to run the ball first.
Yeah. And they didn't
that when I played.
Yeah.
Well, you had Riggins.
I knew you were setting yourself up.
I had Riggins 1 year.
All right.
Yeah, but you was crying about having the ball all the time, like.
It wasn't quite the pass-happy league that it is now.
Yeah.
But I wasn't there yet. I mean, at the end of the day, but I'm 2-0 in Super Bowl.
So what Gary Clark is saying, when he came in, he changed the whole league, and he made them start.
I'm saying that what you do is you adjust to the talent that you have on your team.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We still had our 1,000-yard rushers though.
Yeah.
But at that time, when the posse was there, we were pass first, we ran second, but we still got our backs.
When you got a talent like Deshaun Jackson, you have to use
But you got to use that, but to take some of the pressure off Kirk, because he struggled in that game.
He still got over 300 yards.
Yeah, but he still struggled. He didn't hit the targets and everything where they need. Or let me just say this. They did not go down.
Take away the 2 interceptions. His game is not bad.
But they weren't aggressive on offense as far as their play calling, because to me, you look at Pittsburgh. They came out a little slow, but then they got going. But the Redskins, to me, were not aggressive enough. They didn't go downfield enough. They didn't strike using the weapons.
Tony? You know, they came in, they only suited up 6 defensive linemen. And a lot of people were talking about would they get gassed out there because it was like almost 90 degrees around 5 o'clock. Did they get tired? Because they were on, I mean, time of possession really favored the Steelers. Did the defense get tired?
If we digress and go back, we were speaking the same thing last year.
No, but I mean the offense
I think
and
it was
defense.
around the league.
Yeah.
I think the offense and the defense got tired because they did not do the same amount of work in training camp.
But there's no excuse for that.
And there's no excuse. Gary
there's no
is right.
excuse for that.
But you still, it is an excuse to a degree, Gary. You know that difference in prime time and practice time.
Yeah.
And when you're out there and you're going 14
And a long time when I'm
Exactly.
not on the field, I'm still getting my work. And at the end of the day, I'm going to come out there at tip-top condition. I'm not going to lose the football
But
game
that's your
because I'm
mindset.
So
tired.
you're going to do
G?
those extra things.
I'm not going to be, the person across from me is going to be more tired than I am at the end of the day because
That's
I'm going
where
to
I
put that
always
work
felt.
in
So that
to
means
get it
putting in
done. You
those
have to put
You
that
know,
work in.
and G has a point. I had 106 sacks in my career. If you go back and document that, I bet you over 75% of them came in the fourth quarter.
Well, Tony, a
And
question.
that's how long it takes you to set up. But I want to ask you a question because we did not get to it. You said they did not go downfield. I think the thing that happened was they went to read early. And
Yeah.
they were very successful, and Pittsburgh took him away. Seemed like that kind of threw the game plan.
Deshaun got over 100
Well,
yards, so they went downfield.
Yeah.
But even if it threw the game plan off, don't you have to make those adjustments offensively?
But they
wise?
did. What Gary said, they went to read early, they adjust, but then they went to Deshaun, and he made the difference in their passing game. So they did go downfield. It wasn't that as much as I think we go back to the running game.
Well, can we use Vernon Davis? Can we use a 2 tight end set now that you have 2 basic all-pros?
But you guys got to remember, we got into the red area 5 times.
And they came away with 9
If
points.
we scored touchdowns, but hold on. The passing took them into the red area. It'd be one thing if we were not passing and we weren't running and we didn't get into the red area to have a chance to score.
So what happens in the red zone when they get down there? The same problems as last year?
It's decisions and it's execution. And when you talk about that, when you get in the red zone, you have to score. When you cannot score, you will not win. We saw that on Monday night. Hopefully we will not see that next week. Now we talk about the defense. If you do not stop the run and you do not pass rush, what are you doing? We'll be back in a second.
This is disappointing. You all got out somewhat to a strong start, but then it fell apart. What happened out there on defense?
I'm not sure. We got to come in tomorrow and watch the film and see where, we were weak at. But it just seemed like they was able to do whatever they want. They was good at situational football, on third and short, 4th and 1. We were expecting them to run the ball, and they passed the ball and gained a lot of yards. Ben found a lot of times where it was a single receiver or no help with the wide receiver, and he attacked and they made big plays.
Let's talk about the pressure up front. Do you all think it was there? Because he seemed like he had quite a lot of time to
throw the ball and find his open receivers?
Oh, well, yeah. He got rid of the ball so quick a lot. You know, a lot of times it was quick screens, but it wasn't like he was just sitting back there, you know, just patting the ball and looking for he knew he was going to go to. They snapped it. He threw it. You know, it was hard for us to really get a consistent pass rush on him, but, you know, he showed why he's, you know, a great quarterback, and they show why they're always a good team year in and year out.
Talk about a little bit about them being able to run the ball on you all too, because they were pretty successful in the second half.
Yeah, it's very frustrating as a defensive lineman to watch someone run the ball up and down the field. But we just got to figure out a way to get the right people in the game, and the coaches got to find a way to put us in the right situation so we're able to make the plays that we're supposed to make.
Well, you know, each and every year I defend the defense because I feel like defense win championship. So I might as well say what I need to say. The defense did not play well on Monday night. I know that these guys, they have to rush the pass a lot better, and they have to stop the run. But one thing about it, a lot of people are talking about the defensive backs got beat. I don't agree with everything, but then I guess I did not see it, Gary, the way they talking about Breland. I thought Breland was close on a lot of things, but you're saying that on a couple of things, he kind of made the wrong beginning, we should say.
Well, from a receiver standpoint, if I have a defensive back and they're pressing me, especially in the red area.
Now, when you say press, what do you mean?
Press, I'm in bump and run. I'm in a bump and run, because bump and run is typically I'm going to bump, you go to bump me, then we're going to run.
So they're going to get up closer.
Exactly. You go to press me.
Can you show that?
Sure.
Yeah,
So
show it to us.
typically, if you're in a bump and run, right? So basically, he's in inside technique. That means that typically he has no help on the inside. So he's going to try to force me to the sideline. Well, if you don't get a jab on me and I can release straight off the ball, if I'm faster than you, I'm going to get to the end zone before you do. It's just what it is. Like, you have to slow me down. That's what the bump technique is for. Now, in that particular play, he actually had help to the inside as well. So instead of playing me an inside technique, you should probably play me an outside technique.
Right,
that way I can push you
help.
into my help and run ahead of you. That way we kind of have you in the squeeze position. So one man's inside, one man's outside. But by both men being inside, that left him the sideline and been through a perfect pass. Because he was right there. He still almost had a chance to make a great play on it. But you have to give me that bump. If you don't bump me and you just let me release off the ball, it's going to be harder for you to cover me. Not saying that he can't do that, but it's going to be a lot harder for you to cover me if you don't put your hands on me.
Now, I hope you fans listen to that. What he's saying, it all began with the lineup. It's not also about what everything else that happened. The lineup was bad, and he should have pushed the man in rather than out. With that being said, it was a sign of disrespect to go for it on 4th and 1 and throw a pass anyway. This defense is going to have to get some respect somewhere.
He finally said something good that was real.
G, my man. Hey, G, you handled that.
I'm just tired of you, Donna, you copying all my...
But Tony, the question is Josh Norman.
You're not player hating, are you?
No, I'm not. Josh Norman, basically, the question this morning was, why was Josh Norman not on Antonio Brown? This is like your possibly best cornerback, and not taken away from Breland, because I think both of them are solid.
Yes.
But you would have thought that Norman would have been on Antonio Brown, but that was not the case. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, that was, you know, schematically, they may have had another plan. The world wanted to see them one-on-one, but the plan may have been play your position on your side, and maybe that's the way Josh played here rather than last year. We got to let last year go. Whatever works here, maybe they need him in the side. Darrell Green could play anywhere on the field, but they knew when they put him in a certain corner, in which that corner made the whole team better. So that may have been what they were doing.
Some things is adjustment, you know. Sometimes what I do know, when you go into a war on the field, that there's certain adjustments that have to be made by coaches and by players.
Right.
You know, at the end of the day, I think no one ever wants to get replaced out of that challenge.
Right.
Like, I think Breland, like, he wanted the challenge. He has that type of swag. Like, he's not going to let that bother him. He's going to move on to the next game.
And I love
he's going to play better the next week. So, but you like that challenge. But at the end of the day, when you do that to me as any player, offensively or defensively, if you go at me on 4th down,
that's an insult.
Yes.
Cravens.
I want to talk about Cravens definitely, but I would not be surprised to see more of Kendall Fuller. I mean, the kid played really well, and I'm going to say this draft was a good draft. I think everybody's raving about Sua Cravens, but I think Kendall Fuller is the steal, and I think you're going to see a lot more of him at cornerback. Now, the one thing I wanted to say is if one were to look at last year's starting lineup and this year's starting lineup, 10 new starting positions. The only one in their position from last year is Ryan Kerrigan because D'Angelo Hall, cornerback, moved over to safety. I think we got to give him 3 weeks, Tony.
I do too. I agree with that,
see
Mike.
a very stellar defense. It's going to take 3 games.
Got to be better up front.
And you know what they're saying to you fans, don't look at the product on Monday night and act like that's the season. These guys are still growing.
Yeah.
What we have to look at, that was a bad game.
Yeah.
That was not a game that you want to remember, but do not base your thoughts about the season on that. When we come back, we're talking a little bit about special teams. And I tell you what, they did okay, but we need more big plays. We'll be back in a minute.
Talking about the game a little bit, it had to be frustrating out there for you all on defense, not being able to stop the run, them running, and then Ben passing the ball the way he did. Talk a little bit about the defense and what happened out there.
We didn't execute. We didn't come out there and execute the fundamentals of football up front. We didn't get off blocks when we needed to. That's why D'Angelo Williams had 148 yards rushing. And he's ageless, so he can do it forever. And then at times, Big Ben could put the ball in there anytime he wanted to because even though we had good coverage on him, even though we had people in position, but we didn't capitalize on it, even on the fumble, even on the interception when Greg told it what we thought was going to be an interception. He just misplayed it. It's good to have a game like this. Okay, we got beat. We got the brakes beat off of us, but we got to show a week and we got to play the Dallas Cowboys. So let's learn from our mistakes and let's move on and get ready to play Dallas.
Talk about a little bit of the pressure as far as up front. Do you all think you got enough on Ben and looking to next week against Dallas?
We got enough on Ben. We just didn't get him down. Big Ben knew what he was going against. Big Ben is all-pro quarterback. It's the reason he put up 5,000 yards. He's always an all-pro quarterback. He was just saying that he was saying certain things, and he just knew how to capitalize on it. He was getting the ball off with him. As soon as the ball hit his hand, like, he was already dumping the ball down. So it's kind of hard to get past rush, and it's frustrating up front to get to a quarterback that's just releasing the ball so quick. But on the run game, we need to get in there, and we need to stop the run. But we ain't going to stop the run. Come next week, we playing against one of the best offensive lines in the league. We can't stop the run and get this fixed, or we're going to have that hard day next week.
Check this out, bro.
What's that, Brohim?
I switched to Geico and got more.
More savings on car insurance?
Yeah, Professor, and more. Like renter's insurance.
More ways to save. Nice, Brotato Chip.
That's not all protein shake. Geico has motorcycle and RV insurance, too.
Ooh, that's a lot more.
Oh, yeah. I'm all about more Teddy Roosevelt.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Well, you know, there's 3 facets to every team, and we always talk about offense, defense, and special teams. As you can see, Donna's cousin.
It's my brother, Dustin.
Oh, it's your brother. Okay,
Dustin.
my mistake. He did a good job.
What's his name, Dusty?
Guys, what do we need more from our special teams.
Big plays.
Very quickly.
Big
We're
plays.
going into Dallas. We see Dallas has a decent team. We know they're going to run the ball. Their defense is not where it should be yet, but it got better as the game progressed last week. Where can these special teams help?
I like the fact they put Chris Thompson back there instead of Ross. I mean, I think that I think he's got sort of quickness and acceleration. He's 1/3 of what Gary Clark was, returning punts and kickoffs, but I think he could be a game breaker.
I think they need to
Why
be more
you kiss
aggressive.
up on the stage, man? Why don't you do that off stage?
He's twice as fast.
You know Gary was great. Wait, they bought Gary to be a return man, but he became the greatest receiver that we could see. So, don't do that anymore.
I like that change, don't you?
Well, it can be a lot of fair. I saw some situations where they should have ran the ball as far instead of fair catching because they had
here we go.
No, but
start up the bus. Donna getting ready to throw somebody.
There was one time.
Yeah,
because
it was open
you have to
field.
rely that because there was only one guy, and that guy had it blocked. And everybody else was taking their time coming down. Well, he didn't.
And he had like
when
10
things
yards.
are going bad for your team,
They just go bad.
You're afraid to, you don't want to get out of the game
But you got to believe in yourself.
Yeah, you're true. That's true.
At the end of the day, if I'm going to be a game maker,
But everybody's not going to be a Hall of Famer like you. That was your thought process. These young guys not trying to learn how to play the game.
But that was Art's process. That was your process. That was Man's process. That was Manley's process. That was Rippon process. That was Williams' process.
You're talking Super Bowl process.
But that was the process.
Yeah.
The process is we got to do what it takes to win.
And that
and making decisions like that allows you to do it.
So you guys just answered the question. This special team has got to get that mindset.
I think they'll get better. Though.
Yeah.
I think they will get. They didn't do anything to hurt their team.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's important too.
And I didn't see breakdowns.
Nothing to hurt their team.
I didn't see breakdowns on the gap or anything like that.
When you talk about breakdowns last year, again, we had a person win the picks that I don't know what happened there. The sports
how many?
I'm watching this week.
And but the bad thing about the person that won the picks was the person that was keeping the score.
Oh.
You
Shouldn't
do
that
the math.
He was keeping
We'll
the
be
score.
back in the minute.
So we have our stat of the week. Well, here you go. The Redskins will be trying to avoid their 4th straight home loss to the Cowboys.
What are you doing?
Sarah, I love you. And
It's my brother. Keep going.
Sarah, will you marry?
What do you want, Todd?
Keep it going!
If you sit on your phone, you butt dial people. It's what you do. If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico. It's what you do.
I know we just met like 2 months ago.
In the picks this week, I've got the Saints traveling to New York to take on the Giants. And in week number 1, the Saints lost by 1 to the Raiders. But in that game, Drew Brees passed for over 400 and some yards. Now, he's got 3 main receivers. Brandon Cook had 143 yards, 2 touchdowns. Willie Snead, 174 yards, 1 touchdown. But don't go to sleep on their rookie wide receivers. Now, on the other side of the ball, Eli Manning has one of his main receivers back. Victor Cruz had a touchdown in that game. He's been out 2 years, 700 days. And on his other side, Odell Beckham. Now, I'm picking the upset this week. I'm picking the Saints to beat the Giants in New York.
Well, you know I'm the Minister of Information, and I heard someone say prior on this show that they were really the guru of the show. Disregard anything was said. It was made by an insane man. I'm talking about Miami going to New England. If you look at the history, Miami always loses in New England. I was there quite a few times. But New England loses in Miami. But at the same time, if you look at history, Washington loses on Monday night. They did last Monday, so therefore I'm going to stay with history. Miami loses. New England's a good team. They can play without Brady, and they can beat Miami. Pick New England.
So we have the Seattle Seahawks traveling to L.A. to play the Rams. It will be the Rams' first home game in L.A. since December 24th, 1994, against, believe it or not, the Washington Redskins, in a game they lost. Well, look for more of the same against the Seahawks. The Rams have no chance on Sunday. Pick Seattle big in L.A.
Now, everybody knows we are on Pro Football Plus, but I am the guru on Pro Football Plus. Not Tony, not Mike, and definitely not Donna Hopkins. She is horrible. Did I say horrible? Horrible in her picks. I have Cincinnati traveling to Pittsburgh. tough choice. Cincinnati had a great game in the first week. Pittsburgh beat my Redskins. I'm a little upset about that, but it's hard to go against Big Ben and Pittsburgh. Both have quality receivers, both A-Town and A-Town, but in Pittsburgh, Big Ben, Pittsburgh will win this game by at least 10 points or more. Go with Pittsburgh.
I'm here with Craig Heiss, and this session is called Tunnel Vision, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Washington Nationals. Hey, Greg, talk to me about what's going on with them as far as their pitching in Strasburg.
Well, they're down to 9 games as we talk as far as a magic number to clinch the NL East. I don't think that's going to be a problem going forward. They're going to win this division, the NL East, and they're going to go into the playoffs. Now the big question when they get there is how much will they miss Steven Strasburg? Are they going to be able to get him ready when playoff time comes around? The MRI on the elbow was negative. There is a flexor mass issue with the forearm. It's a matter of now. He had a plasma shot. It's a matter of now of getting him healthy, strengthening the forearm area, and then they'll see whether or not he can pitch by the time the postseason starts.
So let's talk about the postseason. If he's not able to go, how much does that hurt them?
Well, it certainly hurts them. You hate to have a 15-game winner out of your rotation, but by the same token, when you look at Max Scherzer and you look at Tanner Roark, and if Steven's not ready to go by the first playoff series, you're probably looking at Gio Gonzalez as your third starter in that rotation, and that's still a pretty formidable rotation when you think about Scherzer with 17 wins, Tanner Roark now with a career-high 15 as he's matched that from a couple of years ago, and Gio's got 11. So they're in pretty good shape that way. It's just that you'd hate to not have Steven Strasburg going into the playoffs.
Well, let's talk about the home stretch as they go into the postseason and everything, getting there rather. What are some of the strengths and what are some of the things you like or dislike about where they're at right now?
Well, what I love about this team right now is Trey Turner at the top of the lineup, playing center field. He can also spell Daniel Murphy at second base if Murphy moves over to play first for Ryan Zimmerman, or if he just takes a day off. But he has been everything the Nationals had envisioned at the top of that lineup, a guy that if it's a walk or a base hit, it can turn into a double. He puts pressure on the defense to make plays. We've seen stolen bases turn into throwing errors and allowing him to go to third base. He's hit home runs, got 8 of them so far since he's been up here. He hits the ball hard, he hits the ball with authority, and his on-base percentage is exactly what you want out of the leadoff spot.
Tony, we got a new sports bar challenge this year and the Sunday night game coming up. Green Bay at Minnesota. Crystal City Restaurant picking Green Bay. Crystal City Sports Pub picking Minnesota. Greavy's Restaurant, Minnesota. Outback Steakhouse of Fairfax, Green Bay. Hard Times of Fairfax, Green Bay. And Harry's Ale House of Fredericksburg, Green Bay. And a new scholarship contest this year for all high school seniors. You can write an essay, get a prize. The subject this year is going to be identify a societal problem and explain how you will remedy it. Donna, you got a big one.
Yeah, Mike, we just wrapped up my 17th annual Hoop It Up for Breast Cancer basketball tournament, but in October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we're going to have the Pink Ribbon Throwdown, our 3rd annual with CrossFit Allure.
And if you look at your pictures, Donna took New Orleans is the only difference in one of them, and Gary and I took Pittsburgh in another, and Mike and Donna took the other ones. Yeah, we know who's going to win. This is only the first week. And last but not least, my only comment for this week, and my tip is there's only one game, and you'll be back. We'll be back next week, and hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll have something new for you next week, and hopefully we'll be right. As I said, not goodbye, but in the minute.
Beat Dallas.
You won't.